Are we on Insta also?
No, I have sent you request. And Sunilji, I've sent you also request if you can check.
I'm just trying to join that also.
I've sent you a request.
Me too.
Mm,
I've sent you a request too. You could just accept that.
I have accepted it, but it is like it is showing that unable to join. Let me send you again. Wait, Nandaji. Sunil ji. Just check once.
And
If
with
you
you,
people have got the mail. Yeah, Nandaji has joined and
Sunil ji.
Sunil ji. Yeah, it has come. Right. Sunil ji is. Yeah, great, great.
That's so
All right.
beautiful.
Great. If Sunil ji, you can reduce the volume of your phone a little bit. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 14 of Thoughtful Thursday. I'm going to start with a few beautiful lines. I am a dancer. I don't dance because I want to. I dance because I need to. I tell a story by the movements of my body. I dance because I get this amazing feeling through the movement of my arms and the rhythm of the music. I dance because it makes me happy. I'm an artist and an athlete and a dreamer. I am a dancer. And this beautiful poem is dedicated to the guest who we have today in Thoughtful Thursday. And I would like Nandaji to please give the introduction to our guest and to our audience about our guest of today.
Each time I'm in awe, and this time when I have this young man in front of me, our minds have been boggled. This is a famous professional Kathak dancer, Sunil Sunkara ji, who is from the World Forum for Art and Culture, a chemical engineer. He has pursued his doctorate in biofuel research. He holds a master's degree in Kathak and now he's currently pursuing his PhD also in it. He professionally performs on different platforms. He has had the opportunity to lead a very, very big team at an international platform where the entire world had participated. So his life has been full of so much and more. And we will hear from him his story, which is so inspiring. Let's welcome Sunil Sunkara who is a scientist, who is a chemical engineer, and a professional Kathak dancer. Welcome to the show, Educate to Elevate, the Thoughtful Thursdays.
Thank you so much, Nandaji, Uzmaji, for this beautiful welcome to Thoughtful Thursdays. It's truly a pleasure to be here, and thank you for that beautiful poetry that you began with.
I
That's so
think it
beautiful.
truly embodies you.
So, like I said, it was completely mind boggling when we were reading your bio, your profile, a chemical engineer, somebody who's done, like a scientist who's done his research in biofuel, a professional Kathak dancer, and so much more. Whenever I've been trying to chase this young man for a while now from different, sending out feelers to different friends, and I was always told he's traveling somewhere or the other. So, Sunilji, let's hear about this amazing journey of yours.
My journey in dance has been sort of something that just happened. So it was 2006. I was in the USA in a city that's Madison, a very cold city, but and that's where I was working on my PhD in chemical engineering at the University of Wisconsin Madison. And my landlady who's Peruvian. So she mentioned that her daughter is a Kathak dancer, and she invited me to a performance. And at that time, I was quite homesick. And those of you who have lived in Mumbai, we spend a number of hours in a day traveling. There's a lot of hustle bustle. So from here, when I went to the USA to study, it was primarily a student town that I was in, not one of the large cities, but a student town where life revolves around the campus. So there was suddenly a lot of free time, and you walk everywhere in 5-7 minutes because it's a contained campus unit. So I had free time on hand. So I said, okay, let me go to this performance. And her name was Natalia Hillner, and she announced that she's starting a Kathak class. So I said, chalo, why not? Like on my bucket list of things to do. Since childhood, I've been the sort of person who always likes to try something new, a new hobby every summer, or something new, something different that I like to keep trying. So I said, why not? Let's go and join this class just for, just for fun. And this is something very Indian, so my homesickness level may also come down. That was my inner thought, though I didn't share that with the teacher. I was like, I want to come in, and I walked into my first class very funnily wearing jeans and a t-shirt. So the t-shirt and the jeans gave me away. The teacher was like, you are Indian. When you come for Indian dance, you should wear a kurta, churidar, and come from the next time. So even though at that point I didn't even have to be Indian clothes, because I was an engineering grad student, and I didn't think of myself as doing something like वो सोचा ही नहीं था, कल्पना के बाहर वाली चीज थी कि ऐसा कुछ मैं करूंगा. So I started learning. It was summer of August 2006, and immediately within 2-3 months, somehow when I started, uh, uh, the whole thing just got accelerated. Like I felt as if I've maybe danced before, and it's all just sort of coming back. So it just got accelerated in a very quick learning. And 3 months later, Pandit Birju Maharaj ji, he was traveling to Chicago, which is around 2.5 hours away from Madison, for a workshop. So my teacher took me over there, and I like it's sort of, you sort of a roller coaster, right? Suddenly I'm in front of this maestro, and I've joined this class, and I'm learning, and I'm dancing very badly and getting scolded because everyone else who was there had learned for many years, and I am 6'2" tall and quite huge, so my errors, as they say, were very visible. So it was a very fun experience, but that whole the few months sort of got me hooked to what Kathak and the world of Kathak is, especially because I saw that there is a great amount of spiritual content that I saw Maharaji share or others share in that experience. And so that's why I felt I should continue ahead, though it was almost few years later in 2009 or 10, when I was back in India, that I started learning even more formally and even more seriously when I was in India. Till then, it was sort of a hobby, like many other hobbies that I have, but just it's a hobby that stuck. That it wasn't that after a few months I said, "हाँ बहुत सीख लिया, चलो अभी दूसरी चीज सीखते हैं." Like many of us, who like to dabble in many things, we learn a little and we say, "Okay, this is the extent of it for me because I have something else that's full time." So it sort of just happened, and I think the only thing that I consciously made a choice was that I should keep continuing to pursue it in spite of the many other things that were happening in life, work, research, or other things. And because one thing is for sure, moment you say that I'll take a break, I'll come back to it after a few months, you never come back. So there are such moments, so
True.
you just have to keep pushing and going ahead. And I think that's what happened. Without being very mindful about it, I just sort of pushed myself to keep learning, and a few years just went by, and then one fine day I was ready to start performing and things like that. So it just kind of happened. It wasn't something that I consciously chose. I feel the universe conspired in some way to have all these elements in place for me to start dancing.
This is so beautiful.
So beautiful,
And
really.
yeah. And while listening to your journey, Sunilji, that you are telling about how the universe conspired and how it was a hobby that stuck by you. But still, I mean, I have this question that, you did your research work. Pursuing PhD itself is such a long process. I mean, you do your grad 3 years, 2 years of post graduation, then 5 years. It can take more than 5 years also. So, did you ever second thought your decision, or what was the defining moment where you felt, no, I have to completely pursue Kathak only as my profession?
So the major and I would say the only factor that pushed me to that direction was in 2014 when my spiritual guru Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji, when he spoke to me, and I used to go to the ashram. Our Art of Living International Ashram is at Bangalore, and I went there to perform along with Maharaji, Pandit Birju Maharaj, and a number of members of his family. And after that, when he spoke to me, he asked me, what do I do? And so I had a chance to speak to him, and I shared everything about my research and what I'm doing and all of it. And then he just said, but all that is okay, but you should do Kathak. And he laid out a plan for me that you learn more, and then you make a team, and then you travel and you dance. And so he gave me like 5 6 steps that which sort of was the, as you can say, the plan to build a Kathak career right there in that instant. And he said, you should do Kathak. So inception of the thought was very powerful because coming from the spiritual master himself, and in my background I was always a nerdy kid. So I was always top of my class and always liking to study. So I said, leaving what you have done all your life doesn't make any sense. But when he said it, and then I sort of things started falling into place. So once he said it, and it also is how when you prepare your mind, then you start saying yes to certain opportunities, whether it is performance opportunities or travel opportunities. So I started saying yes to things which were artistic that started coming my way. And so by the time it was 2016, that's when I took a conscious decision that now I'd like to pursue it full time. And I joined a master's program at the Bharata College of Fine Arts and Culture in Mumbai. And that's when it sort of the entire transition happened. Being a nerd, I said the nice way for me to is go through the academics in dance, coming from a South Indian family where we value the university and the degree systems. So
Yeah.
that's how it happened. Though I did have training in the Guru Shisya Parampara, and that was my training primarily till then. But I went into the university system into Kathak, started training more, performing more, and so that was the main push came from Gurudev, and the fact that someone of that spiritual stature who is taking time out to tell you something in to give a direction to your life, that helped me to overcome the barriers in my own mind against it. And I think that also in a way enabled my entire family also to support me in this journey. So the faith that there's a larger cause maybe that is associated with it. So I would say that is the main reason why I'm a dancer.
Wow. For somebody who not only bumped into, you know, Maharaji, Birju Maharaji just at some performance, but who actually was then learning under him under the Guru Shisya Parampara at the Kalashram. So Sunilji has had such a brilliant, you know, what should I say, guidance from his gurus. And now currently is pursuing his PhD in Kathak in Sri Sri University. Like he rightly said that he was guided by His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji. So, Sunilji, how does one balance the left side and the right side of the mind? One which is so analytical and logical, and one that is so artistic and so sensitive and so wonderful. How does one manage to bring a balance? Of course, now you're saying you are more into Kathak, but there must have been a time where you're juggling between the two, where there's an artistic bent and then there's this analytical mind. So, how did you manage all of this?
So I think we have to look at our left and right side more as complementary to each other. If you look at
Absolutely.
Indian art and the Indian knowledge systems, not just Indian performing arts, but the Indian knowledge systems that are there, they always bring about a balance. So just let us art. What is the name that comes to our mind? Natya Shastra or treatises. So dance and music is always called a Shastra. What does Shastra mean? Science. So
Science.
they've always been treated as science. But what does science need? Science needs a logical mind, a mind that can reason, and a mind that can correlate. So it does mean that if you are to be an artist within any of the Indian art forms, you need all of these. It is just that it's not forefront. No one says that while you're singing or you're dancing, you're learning mathematics or you're learning optimization or you're learning correlation skills. But these are happening as undertones
Absolutely.
or undercurrents of knowledge which are built through osmosis. Now, in the reverse, when you look at Indian sciences or when you look at the life of a scientist, there is a lot of intuitive power. We all talk of Archimedes and Eureka and that moment. So, what is that moment? It is when you're reasoning everything that you have learned, that you're correlated, that you're thought about, that you're put together in the world. When that gels along with an intuitive thought, that is when that Eureka happens. Like when the apple fell on Newton's head,
Oh,
that was just something falling. But the fact that he was thinking about gravity, thinking about something else, and he could correlate all of it together with that intuitive thought, or when Archimedes was in the tub, or when Aryabhatta looked at the sky
sky.
and thought, it's exactly that you have this entire base of knowledge, shastric knowledge, which you have, but you need that intuitive moment to jump. What does an artist have? We have a lot of intuitive knowledge. Or what does the other knowledge systems like yoga and meditation give you? It gives you an intuitive knowledge. So in our Indian context, always the left and the right did go together. It's only recently that we started thinking that, oh, this is more left dominant or more right dominant, and we started becoming more conscious about it. But in fact, to both are required to support the other, just that we are not consciously aware that the other is supporting us for one to work, and that is the secret. So I think when uh, now that I've been on both sides, as you can see, the science and the art, I feel that they do come together and they complement each other very well in an overall development of your thought process.
Wow,
Oh
that's so
my
amazing.
goodness.
So beautifully shared. Yeah.
I just like to
I
share
Yes.
love
one thing over here
the
before we move on,
Please,
Shastra.
please, Sunil.
because now the since you all are in education to elevate, and the national education policy now has made classical dance and music as co-curricular rather than being an extracurricular activity, which is a huge change in the education policy of India. And I think that will benefit students tremendously, because today this has become a possibility that along with a mainstream study of let's say science or medicine, you can have a minor in dance or music, and these go complementary along with each other, because it will help develop skills, life skills that you can use. So you don't have to learn dance or music in order to become an artist. You can learn it in order to gain certain life skills. Just like when we were children, we didn't learn history, geography in order to become a historian or a topologist. We learned it as general life skills that we wanted to develop. So that is where
Absolutely.
music and dance can truly benefit today, and our government and our national education policy is going towards that direction. And I think that is the right direction in bringing out this balance of the left and the right brain.
Completely
My
agree. And
goodness.
yeah, we will pick up what I was about to share at a little later stage,
Yes.
because I don't want to spoil that question, which we are very keen to ask you later. So over to you, Coach. Why don't you take it forward?
Sunilji, your answer has been so profound, because a lot of this answer of yours itself is going to give so much clarity to a lot of people who feel that these are two absolutely different fields. And how beautifully you're told that the amalgamation of both the things is so essential, and it is going to actually help our brain's faculty to improve more. Because if we see, I was watching this video where somebody was saying that we often question that why do we learn maths at this Pythagoras theorem or trigonometry, because we are never going to use it. But it is actually to help our brain get into the process of learning how to solve a problem, so that in real life
True.
when we face problem we can solve it. In the same way is all the performing arts. And I resonate with this answer so much. I mean, I just loved it. And there are so many comments which are coming on YouTube and on LinkedIn also that I would like to share. There are people who are curious to know how you study, how you dance, how you manage your time, sir. And I also love music so much. And there is somebody who has said that, Sunil sir, after completing engineering, what inspired you to go towards art, which you have already answered. And of course, because like homesickness led you to become such an amazing dancer. So I have a question here for you. like, you I can see the passion by, with which you are speaking, Sunilji, and it's literally giving me goosebumps. So what had been that your goosebump performance, your best performance so far? We would really like you to share your experience with us.
Uh, there have been certain performances which have really stayed in our mind as because the life of an Indian classical artist, especially in India, it's not something that one would take up as a profession that meets today's demands of lifestyle. It's something that is passion driven and something which one has to push yourself to be in a field
Absolutely.
which is a tough field to be in terms of the commercial aspect or other aspects. So there are certain moments that you carry with you. So there was one such moment in Bangalore. I was performing, and this was Chhap Tilak, a Sufi performance, and I had just completed that, and there was uh, uh, this one girl who came up to me and said, I just sort of ran it. That day it was sort of a Mela performance. The crowd is walking by, like it wasn't a proscenium performance. So she was like, I was passing by and I just stopped for some reason, and I saw you, and I'm so and she was apparently in the hospital for many days with her brother who was in actually in comatose. So she was like, I was passing by to run an errand and I saw you and I stopped and watched you and I started smiling, and I've smiled after so many days. And that touched me so much that this uh, that means something we could do for someone unexpectedly, which wasn't an intention, and that goes beyond entertainment. So I think experiences like this, where in India we have two words, manoranjan and atmaranjan. So dance or art can give you both. It can be a source of entertainment, yet at the same time it can give you something more when you lose yourself in it, whether it's a beautiful song or a beautiful dance that you're watching. And as an artist, when you feel that, oh, you have become the medium today to enable that experience for someone, I think that's when you feel, yes, today I've done my job well, or this is a memorable performance, because it goes beyond the applause of 1,000 people, or goes beyond something. It goes that you've touched somebody's soul and they have given you such a beautiful positive response, and the reflection that you get from that is something very beautiful that you can carry in your life. So it's experiences like these that one can treasure. And there have been many other such experiences that I have had similar to this that giving me the thought that, yes, that's the wealth that you're accumulating as you move forth.
I completely resonate with this because I've had this, I would say, blissful opportunity to watch Sunil ji dance at, I think he was invited for some event, I forget which. And to see him is like, I think it transcends. You're not just seeing somebody dance, you actually get transported into that particular, whatever it is, that like if it's a Radha Krishna or a Shiva Parvati, whatever he's doing, you completely tend to get become a part of that. And what he's talking about, the feelings that happen, the bliss that you feel, it's not like you're just watching a dance performance, but something moves. And I've had this opportunity to see it. This brings to me the question that, while you're so disciplined, while you are so much into doing what you do and following this thing very, strictly, stringently, you have had the opportunity to deal with so many teams and so many huge teams at worldwide platforms. What happens when somebody is not able to follow the routine? How do you deal with something like this?
I think that this happens always, and not just with somebody, with our own body also. That we also sometimes are not able to follow the routines that we set ourselves to. But we have to push each other, and there are two approaches. Either some people take up the task of using aggression, shouting, or creating that kind of a reinforcement that's a negative reinforcement. But another aspect is, oh, it's not always possible for every day. Sab din na ek saman. We can't always be at our 100%. Yet we have to go on stage. So as artists, as we keep progressing ahead, we realize that we have to take everyone together. And Gurudev Sri gives one line he has said and said a few times. I always remember that. there are कुछ कच्चे हैं, कुछ अच्छे हैं, कुछ लुच्छे हैं और कुछ
Luche.
सच्चे हैं. ये चारों, there are 4 categories, all will be there. So सभी को साथ में लेके चलना है, because if you have only अच्छे people, then भी वो गाड़ी आगे means वो you won't get that, you won't have that fun, right? You need to have all these varieties of people and take everybody together, because जो लुच्छे हैं, जब वो अच्छे हो जाते हैं तब वो ज़्यादा मजा आता है उस चीज़ में.
Yes.
So I think we have to just individually keep bringing everyone back to feeling the positive energy or the happiness out of working together, doing things together, and then things slowly will start falling into place. That can, so I always feel that that is a better way, that when people come together, sometimes today somebody is not able to dance maybe to that way, but that somebody could be me tomorrow when I'm not able to be up to the mark. So but the mind can overcome the body. So if somebody's body is not supporting them, but if we keep their mind in a positive space, then at that moment they will do things that that body will be able to unexpectedly do, just because the mind is in the right space. And we have all experienced that, right? Many times that we may be tired,
Yes.
we may have forgotten things, but when we have set our mind to it, our body somehow supports at that moment. So I feel that is where the focus should be. Uh, uh, that is where a greater focus helps, and my approach has always been in that. Though I worked with various people who have had various approaches, but this is what I find most comfortable for me. That the first thing to target is our mind, the mind of the dancer, the mind of the group. Bring them all into a positive space, and then the body will definitely follow.
I think Uzma
Well,
had a question related to that, so I think you should go ahead and ask him that.
yes, in fact, I think this line of yours, Sunil ji, which Gurudev shared with you, I think this is going to be my takeaway. Because not only in terms of, teaching people, but, let's say, I mean, because we are into leadership coaching as well. For leaders also, they really need to understand this thing when they are training their team. That, some will be fast learners, some will be this, some will be that. We have to maintain that patience, that you will not always get the same kind of people. And as leaders, if you are able to instill and imbibe this line that you shared, I think everybody can become a great leader. And I want to really actually build upon whatever you shared right now, as a dancer. Like, there are a lot of people who are watching right now who are actually aspiring dancers. So what do you feel are the important traits that a dancer should have in him or her?
I think the most important trait that a dancer should have is that whenever we meet somebody, and this is what I've learned by observing many people and from my own experiences, they say, no, ant acha to sab bhala. So we should, whenever we interact with someone, may it be a coffee meet, or it's a performance, or the meeting regarding a performance, or just generally interacting with people, we should leave people feeling better or more positive than they were originally. I think that is the dharma of an artist as given by Bharat Muni in the Natya Shastra, and very wisely so, because at every moment when you keep doing that, it builds up till you can't just walk on stage and expect yourself to give out positive energy. You have to keep doing it in small doses so that on stage it can grow manyfold. So I think that should be the main trait, that when we meet somebody, you make them happy, talk nicely, interact well with them, give leave them with a happy memory, whether it's the memory of your dance or the memory of your speech or the memory of your interaction. And that is why when we think of dance, it's not just about the body's dance, it's about what you speak, what you think, what you wear. All of it contributes. That is why dance has the 4 types of abhinaya: the angika, the aharya, the vachika, and the satvika. These 4. Angika meaning the body language, vachika what we speak, satvika what we feel, aharya what we wear. So all these 4 we can make someone feel good by all these aspects. If you come to meet somebody very shabbily dressed, again they are not happy. You dress up nicely, they feel, oh, you made an effort to meet them. You speak well to them, you leave them, give them a smile, and then finally you bring that all in a performance. So I think that is the main aspect of being an artist, or not just a dancer or musician, that whenever you interact with people, you leave them with that humility, with that happy thought, and then your job is done. What you have to give as an artist, that is your dharma.
Again, I would say I completely second it. again at another performance. This was happening during Navratri, and he had given a spellbounding dance where, in the end, he has twirled around so many times in that heavy Kathak dress and everything. As soon as that got over, people came up to it. Somebody's grabbing his hand, somebody's congratulating him, somebody's saying, "Well done." And he maintained his, his poise, his whatever, and what he's talking about as an artist. He smiled at everybody, he spoke to everybody, and I was like, this guy is so tired, guys, just leave him. He's barely able to breathe. But that's it. I think, he really lives it. Earlier, you said that it happens to all of us. Our bodies every day is not the same. So, has it ever happened, Sunil ji, कि कभी कभार आप भी कोई steps भूल गए हो, that you've forgotten some steps during your dance, and how did you recover from such a situation if it did happen?
बहुत बार हुआ है, ऐसा नहीं कभी कभार हुआ है, बहुत बार हुआ है, बहुत लोगों के साथ हुआ है, मेरे साथ भी बहुत बार हुआ है. It's happened many times that you forget, but that is where the present moment awareness we have to carry always. जो आप कहते हैं ना, presence of mind. So if we forget, we shouldn't let the audience become aware that we have forgotten. When it's in a group, of course, it becomes apparent. Ki chalo, when everybody's dancing the same, you've forgotten. There's nothing you can do but move ahead to the next one, and that moment is gone by. So what would really damage the rest of the performance is if you keep thinking, oh my God, in the beginning I made a mistake, I messed up, I look different from my group. Then the rest of the performance will make more mistakes because our mind is going on thinking that, oh my God, I made a mistake, I made a mistake. So the wisest thing for a dancer to do is move ahead. And when you're, let's say, in a solo or in a duet, you have made a mistake, you changed it, you just move ahead, like you just keep going ahead. ये चीजें तो होती ही है. It's our mindset after the mistake that makes a world of a difference. It's like we are on
Agree.
stage, we have slipped and we have fallen down. वो भी एक mistake ही है. अब क्या करें? चलो उठ के फिर से dance करो. Or we have made a mistake in the choreography. Go ahead and do the next part. There's nothing at that moment that we, like they say, no, spilt milk or spilt water. We can't go back and
Yes.
do anything at that moment. So there's the best decision for yourself is not to think at that moment that it's a mistake. But yes, the next time, whenever we make a mistake, when we go back to stage, we practice more and put it more into muscle memory. That is why they say practice, 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 because even if the mind forgets, it goes into the body's muscle memory. So the body keeps up with what needs to be done.
So true, so
So
true.
true.
Recently at my son's wedding, there were three of us dancing, and I was the center one, being the mother of the bridegroom. And वैसे ही काम इतना होता है कि I had forgotten all my steps. The two girls next to me were dancing beautifully. I was doing something else totally, but I kept the presence of mind to keep dancing, to keep doing something. Everybody came and said, "Oh my God, you're choreographed it so beautifully." By the end of it, I was like completely, पता नहीं लोग क्या सोचेंगे, but everybody said, "Oh, it was so beautifully choreographed." So what I completely, second what Sunil ji is saying, that you need to be in the present moment and just need to go ahead and do your bit. Audience doesn't know what you have choreographed.
Yes,
So
true. In
over to
fact,
you, coach.
I was about to share my experience also, Sunilji, because I've never taken a professional training in dancing, but I love dancing, from my core, and I enjoyed so much. So I had this performance in my masters, and what happened that it was because I was in so much stress of the performance preparation and so many things that the moment the person gave me the cue, I got confused. The music started a one point later, and because of that I blacked out, and never ever it had happened in my life that I black out in front of the stage. And thankfully it was a solo performance that I did any step that I could remember, so the audience was all appreciative, but then I knew inside my heart that what I did. But yeah, as you said, if it's a solo performance, you can always keep continuing the performance so that nobody gets to know that there is a goof up that has happened. So, this was one thing, but this question, which is the next one, Sunilji, I really wanted to ask you, and I told Nandaji because this part interests me a lot. And you have done your research in biofuel. I remember during my school time reading about Jatrafa as one of the biofuels, and it is really fascinating topic as well as it is so important for sustainable development. So I really want that if you could, spread some awareness about this and your research and biofuels to the audience.
Yes, definitely. That is from a blast from the past, I would say. And a lot of the work that I had done then at the Department of Biotechnology at the Institute of Chemical Technology was related to the 2G ethanol technology. And I was a small part, like just like when Ram built the Ram Setu, there were many many small Vanara squirrels who came in. So there was this Professor Arvind Lali who had taken on the initiative of building for India a technology of converting lignocellulosic biomass, which in lay terms means any kachra which comes from plants, like
Yes.
waste from trees and waste from agricultural waste. So using that in order to make fuel ethanol, which seemed to be a viable technology for India but to make that into a commercial scale. And so that is how all of us were a part of working on different aspects of it. And the whole team was successful under his guidance. And in 2016, the first 2G ethanol plant was set up at Kashipur, and that was also a wonderful experience being in a part of a team that's doing something that makes a difference to the history of the country.
Absolutely.
And definitely, that is there's a lot of scope in this field, especially in India. And there's a lot of growth that is happening currently. A number of people are moving towards the options of using biorenewable fuels or doing it in a smart way in order to use what we have and go ahead with it. And that is a huge sector. Though currently, since 2016, I've not been largely working on it, working in this field because I've transitioned completely to being a dancer almost since 2018. And then, of course, the 2 years of lockdown. So we were all mostly at home. But that is what I was working on when I did work.
Yes. And eventually fossil fuels are going to end. So it's the renewable resources that have to be, used in such power generation
Yes,
and the fuel
yes.
things.
But
That's true.
the main issue or the main challenge that everyone is working on is making it optimized, cost effective. Like, for
Yeah.
example, like you make green food, you make a green juice, you make green bread, or you make grow green tomatoes. You can charge more for it because there will be some people who'd like to pay for it. But you can't make fuel more expensive because that is something
True.
that you can't charge more and say that, oh, this is green fuel, so I'm charging more. That's not how it doesn't work with the economy. So the greatest battle that everyone is having is, in layman's term, is looking at that of and that is the success. And India has always been very good at doing jugad, as they say, jugad operations, and a number of wonderful engineers all over India, a number of wonderful scientists have been working on it in order to make these cost-effective solutions that can be economical at the same time green. And I think that's a very exciting time for our country.
Very
So
true.
amazing.
So one, as one is sitting here and listening to you talk about so many different aspects and all that you have done in your life, right from your, chemical engineering to the biofuel research, and now, of course, Kathak, it kind of brings to the mind a question as to what really have been the challenges on this journey, on this career of yours. What are the challenges that you have experienced? More so considering that you're a boy, and there are always expectations out of young man that he has to be the breadwinner, the provider, and he has to be like in a conventional kind of a thing where everything is falling honky dory. So, what really have been the challenges that you have experienced?
So convention is something that they are difficult to break or difficult to overcome, and the bigger challenge is with yourself, that you have to be ready to align yourself to the mindset that this is something that I am going to do differently. And many times this is what I tell people outright. Like, for example, when you have a bow, the tighter the string is, the further the arrow will fly. So family is like that. They are the bow, and the that's when you can become an arrow that flies very far. So I say that oftentimes that I'm an artist that is patronized by my family, which is why I'm able to do all of this. So the work that
Super.
I'm doing and what is happening, and that takes some amount of thought to get used to for others. When you say this to others, it's not something that is conventionally done by, as you said, a man or a boy, or you're not the breadwinner of the house. But in the larger scheme of things, I felt that this is what could be my contribution through as a part of my family to create something that is maybe a wealth of a different kind, not necessarily something which is tangible, but something in the intangible. But for that, one has to steel themselves, pull up your socks, and be ready to face that. And many a times, it's all about the insecurities within you more than that the world gives. Because when there is an insecurity that is within you, that's you when the world says something, it doubles and you echo with that, right? If you are very secure from within, then whatever somebody else says, one does not feel the need to respond or react to it. So I think that has been my journey with myself, and it took me a few years to slowly start becoming comfortable, even though there was a backing of the spiritual guru and all of these wonderful things that I said. But yet the mind does play all of these thoughts on you when sometimes people say different things. So that was a journey also that I overcame, and I sort of uh, came into it and said, okay, this is an alternate lifestyle that we are living, but there is a larger cause that you're doing this for. So just you know believe in it and go ahead. That's and overcoming that is largely been a personal journey, and I've been very lucky, I have to say that, of having a family, having a spiritual guru who is a Sadguru like Shri Shri, having that divine stature, having dance gurus who are of immensely great stature like Pandit Birju Maharaj ji, Dr. Puru Dadich, under whom I'm doing my PhD. So in that sense, I would say I'm immensely grateful to the universe that I have been lucky in that sense. So I haven't had the conventional issues that many other performers have had, in the sense that I've never faced a day where I don't have something to eat. I know some of my friends who have had to go through that journey where having your daily food is a struggle because you've decided to live the life of a dancer. Or there are many other issues that come in. You have to meet your EMIs or do other things. So that's why I have this immense gratitude that I'm born into a family that is able to support this vision, and under the umbrella of a spiritual master that is pushing me ahead. So I am definitely one of the luckier ones for sure. So any small challenges that I have, that is just for my own learning, because the larger challenges have been taken care of by the guru and the parents in this life of mine.
I
That
just,
is so good,
Sunilji,
man.
want to say one thing, that I know you are so humble enough to say that you are lucky, but a line, though it is from Harry Potter, but I feel that's so true when Dumbledore says that help is provided to those who ask for it or who genuinely seek for it. So you do say that it's also because you were in the shadow and under the blessings of your family and gurus, but you had that thing in you also, that light, that desire. That's why you were able to end up in the shadows and under the blessings of such amazing gurus. So yeah, I would say that kudos to you as well in this case. And
Thank you so much, and
Absolutely.
secondly,
I'm a total Harry Potter fan. So thank you.
me too. I'm a Potterhead. Room of requirement. You will remember that.
Yes.
Yes, so I really like this point that you shared, Sunilji, about the mindset part. Because a lot of young kids who really want to pursue their passion, they do feel, and they might give up many a time at certain stages of their life by, there are of course external reasons, but when you say that you make your mindset strong, it's more of a battle with your own brain and your own complexes which are there. So I feel this point is so brilliant for the people who really want to pursue their passion, that they should first work here. Once this is done, all the external issues which are there, they will be easily solved. So I think that's one of the greatest points, I think, so far in this interview. And this next question that I want to ask you, Sunilji, because I'm really curious, because when I during my school days, I have learned very basic Kathak. So what used to happen, we had a teacher who was a Western dance, and we had a separate teacher, Rupa ma'am was there, who used to teach us Kathak. And when we used to learn Kathak, and we, of course, we loved Bollywood dancing and all, also that time, that attracted us a lot, but she would scold us. that don't do that, otherwise your dance form, your softness will go, because the dance that is too cut types. And she would not let us participate in any western dance competition. So this question is actually, it came because of that experience that I had during my childhood, that you think the classical style should not be tampered with, or fusion dance form, like it's also a very great expression. I remember one of my teams, like friends performing, they used a song of Usher, and they did Bharatnatyam on it, and oh my god, it was such an amazing performance. So, but there are always different thoughts, and you yourself are from a science which is an amalgamation of biochemical, so biology and chemistry. So what's your thoughts on this thing about the fusion dance forms?
So I think the appropriate word to use is collaboration. I have also been a part of the Indian Raga and its movement, where I've done a number of productions for them, and they're a worldwide channel that does a lot of collaboration between artists. So I think for every performance there has to be an intention and a form. Just like we say a name of something, like this is a dupatta, this is a kurta. If tomorrow I say that this is not a dupatta, this is a Bermuda, someone will have a problem with that, because we have identified a name. So we have identified Naam, Roop, and Kriya. Everything in India is like that, right? Name, its form, and the action which you do with it. So while we talk about Kathak or Bharatanatyam, there is a freedom, but within a framework, that what can be called Kathak, what can be called Bharatanatyam. But when we come into the genre, let's say you said fusion dances or Bollywood based dances. So these are dances in which you can take movement vocabulary from any dance in the world. But if I dance to it and I call it Kathak or I call it Bharatanatyam, then I'm playing with a form that I shouldn't. Like for example, if I dance to an Usher song using Bharatanatyam or Kathak based movements, it would be great. It would be very entertaining, a lot of fun for the dancer and the audience. But I would be doing disservice to an entire art form by saying that this is Bharatanatyam, because it does not meet the entire definition of Bharatanatyam. So what I could say very honestly is this is based Bharatanatyam based or semi-classical or based on the movements of that, and that is honestly putting it forward. But moment I say that this is Bharatanatyam, then what about the 7,500-year-old tradition of Kathak and Bharatanatyam in India, which has a number of rules? So a classical dance is all about freedom, but within the rules. If you break out of the rules, then it's no longer that form. That is why these are the three things. It's the naam is decided by its roop and its kriya. So there is nothing absolutely wrong in doing fusion, and it's absolutely enjoyable. I think most people fail to understand that the objection that comes from classical dancers is because of the usage of the name or the form. So if someone is doing Kathak based Bollywood or Bharatanatyam based Bollywood, we know they're using the movement vocabulary, that I'm using certain movements of the body. But the rest of the aspects, because like I said in the beginning, what are the four aspects? Angika, Vachika, Ahari, and Satvika. All four have to be there. What I wear, what I speak, what I emote, and what is the movement that I'm doing with it. So if I take any one aspect, let's say I just take a Kathak dress and dance something, some other dance form, because the Kathak anarkali and that the lehenga or the kurta is beautiful. That doesn't make it Kathak, because I've taken one aspect but forgotten the other three. Yet I can say my costume is inspired by a Kathak costume. So I feel this is what today is. This is why most of the debates that I see happen on social media, or most of the questions come, because this clarity is not there. What we want to do, there's nothing wrong in doing something that is entertaining, but we have to make sure to give due credit. Okay, I've taken something from Kathak, I've taken something from Bharatanatyam, but this is not that. I've borrowed some style from this, or taken something from Yakshagana or Kathakali or folk dances. Many times we talk only about classical dances, but we forget about our so many beautiful folk dance and folk dance movements that are a greater part of popular culture. Whether it's Bollywood, if you go to into any Bollywood dances, you'll see so many movements from folk dances of India are a part of it, which we don't even know belong to traditional, whether it's a garba, tera tali, or ghumar, or other folk elements that we have taken and weaved together separately. So, but since classical dance forms are more in the line focus for their form and for a certain strictness associated with it, we see a lot of this debate. So what I would humbly request everyone who is definitely would create fusions, create collaborations, have a lot of fun. Having fun is a part of being an artist. You don't have to restrict yourself, but we have to be consciously aware that what I am presenting what is it, and is it true to a certain dance form, or am I using just elements from it? This small subtle, it's a very subtle change, it's a very subtle difference. डांस तो वही करोगे, but उसको आप क्या बुलाओगे उससे बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. बाकी लोग जो वो चीज नहीं कर रहे हैं, या those who are wanting to keep it in a certain format that is being preserved, because Indian classical dance forms in India have to be preserved, promoted, propagated. There are three P's to it in a certain way. As I mentioned right in the beginning, these are not commercial art forms, right? You're not going to become very rich by becoming classical dancer. There is always patronization, which is the fourth P after these three P's, which is involved in classical dance form. Hence, they were patronized by the temples, then by the kings and the darbars, and then by the government today to whatever extent they can. And today, largely, there are a number of families like my own who are also small patrons who support their own dancers in their family. We don't call them patrons, but in a sense, they are patrons along with the government that are taking this movement forward. So, in order to help that movement continuing, we should make sure that we respect that form. At the same time, what is good, what we like from them, we have taken. So we just credit them कि हमने ये कथक से लिया, या ये भरतनाट्यम से लिया, या ये मणिपुरी से लिया है. बट ये वो चीज बुलाने से, if you call it Manipuri, call it Kathak, or call it Asha Bharatanatyam, then there is a problem, because we have taken away a name that has taken many centuries in coming up till that point.
So true.
Completely
So
agree.
enlightening.
Completely agree. Yeah. So I told you earlier that I'm going to get back to you about one question
Yes.
that we have that we've reserved for later. That was, when you talk about so much discipline, so much rigorous practice, riyas, and all that bit, so much is required for one to be a dancer, and especially when you're learning a classical form, because you have to adhere to all the frameworks and understand the nuances, the finer nuances. Since we are coaches, this has been a thing for us to understand that what is the importance of emotional well-being, for people who are dancers, who are artists, who want to pursue something like this.
I would say it's at the top, the emotional well-being of an artist. And there are two aspects to a performance, I would say, to an artist. One is bhava and one is rasa. The two. And Bharat Muni has written it in his Natya Shastra more than 5,000 years before. So one tries to think that why are there two aspects? A bhav is something that we just feel, you feel, I feel, about our everyday life. But when we detach from that bhav, and we, like, for example, when we are watching a movie and we are watching a horror movie, we know it's not happening for real, yet we scream. We have these physiological responses, or sometimes emotional responses. We'll shout, we'll cry, we'll close our eyes. So what are these? This is we are enjoying feeling scared. So we are enjoying certain emotions that. But if it happened to us in real life, if in our real life we were in a house, we were sleeping, and then the door opened with that eerie music and one ghost came in, it would not be enjoyable at all, right? If it was really real. So that is why we have this combination of bhav and ras. That ras is something we enjoy, bhav is something that we experience, and then we try to nullify out of our body whenever we have some negative experiences. Hence, you must have heard of when sometimes we say people have carried forward impressions from a past life. Because in our three layers of our body, the sthula sharira, then the psychosomatic, and the karana sharira inside, in these three layers, bhav is the one that impressions can transcend all the way in. Which is why, let's say, people are afraid of fire or snakes, so we say it's a past life impression that they are continuing. So, as an artist, the greatest tool that you're getting is you understand the way to work outside in and inside out. By, by the use of creating techniques of rasa, I can nullify the impacts of these bhava on my body. And this entire back and forth that happens definitely enables one to maintain an emotional well-being. But most artists, maybe, or most students, I would say, not most artists, do not think about this right in the beginning, that the tool that I'm getting is something to do with my life, because we segregate our stage life and our everyday life. On stage, we go into a different world, and then we don't apply them into our this tool that we have. So our as many artists, they sing from great pain, ki dard. Dard Bhari Pukar, when we think of Begum Akhtar or we think of these legends, that their voice, Uzma ji, you're from Lucknow, and Begum Akhtar ji's voice is eternal there, and the pain in her voice,
Absolutely.
that is what made it so magical. So pain can be transformed into great beauty, because
Yes.
when that pain is transformed into something beautiful, we enjoyed it and she enjoyed it also, transforming that pain because it emptied it out. But at the same time, that emotional well-being is required for us to be aware. If you just lose yourself in the pain, then at some point of time, like Van Gogh, you may go and cut your ear. So that balance has to be there, that yes, I am experiencing this pain, I am transforming this pain into art, but now I have to stop it at one point and dissociate it out and get it out of my system. If I continue to
So true.
ruminate that pain just because I want to create more good art out of my pain, then again I'm stuck in a cycle for my want or my capturing of that feeling that, oh, when I'm sad I create good art. Give yourself a chance to be happy also and create good art. So most
Yes.
artists do struggle with this concept of emotional well-being, and we have all of the tools given to us, but it is very difficult to balance that, and that is why I feel the one sutra that most artists need is that you need to have a sadguru, or you need to have a spiritual mentor who will give you that guidance, because most artists have this gandharva energy. There's mischief, there's lot of uthal puthal, as they say, this energy of the Gandharvas who sing and dance, but we are always up to this emotional roller coaster, because and that's what makes art good, right? You need to have these emotional fast changes, and but at the same time it transcends into everyday life. So the solution for emotional well-being is to have a spiritual master, is to have meditative practices, is to tap into those Indian knowledge systems which are ancient and give us that strength, so that then we become even more aware of where we are and what we do. And as artists, we have it, but many of us are not aware of how to tap into it. And it is a journey for all of us. It's sometimes, even if you're aware that we don't have it, it takes us a while to get there. So I'm also on that same journey in order to so many, I'm very short tempered, and there are many other issues that I have. So to overcome all that, one has to keep working on certain things and to come to that emotional well-being.
Sunilji, your answer really blew my mind. I can't tell you. For a moment, I was not even blinking and listening to you with rapt attention, because Nandaji and I have been advocating about emotional fitness so much, and the synchrony that you have showed right now in your answers with what we propagate to our clients and all, and this part, like, people say that as you're sad, so you'll be able to be more creative. No, be happy and try your art form. It will be even more, because I remember I started writing poetry in a phase of life when I was very sad. But then I realized, if I can write poetry when I'm sad, let me try when I'm very happy. And I felt the outcome was even better when I had those positive emotions and I created something, out of that. So, I mean, this is so beautiful that dance itself is showing so much how you can actually work upon your emotional fitness. And, this also can be like a beautiful interdisciplinary sciences or amalgamation where life coaching and dancing can come together and people can be helped, for their emotional fitness. Such an amazing thing. And I think listening to you is like getting so much. I mean, I'm getting so many points. I wish I had a notebook to jot down. You're sharing such amazing points. I'll recap, this episode. But before we ask you a last question, we have a surprise round for you.
Oh,
And that's like the fun round. Like, we have this rapid fire fun game session, which we have with all our guests. So this is basically where we want, because we had a public demand. That was not something we decided. Some
okay.
of the comments are there that we want Sir to see, perform. So this segment is all about where we'll be saying some emotions or some situations to you, which you need to emote via your facial expressions or your mudras, the way you deem it fit, or your dance
Okay.
steps, right? So one by one, Nandaji and I would be sharing. So the first one, Nandaji, why don't you share?
So, Sunilji, you just heard your biofuel research has won the prestigious academic award. What is your reaction to this?
Oh,
that
so
was a that
nice.
was a that was a typical reaction, but actually the reaction should be this in real life. But
Oh,
that was a filmy reaction.
So we will
okay.
see your reaction in the dance form, Sunilji. Some
Yes.
dance ka
Okay.
expressions, mudras, yeah.
Hmm. So the second one is interesting, Sunilji. You are in love, but you can't express it to the person. Oh, oh my God.
So sweet. Oh my God.
Oh my God. She loves me. She loves me not. Amazing, Sunilji.
That
Truly.
was really
Next, you
amazing.
tell.
So somebody doesn't know you but has just said something very rude and has ridiculed you. What would be your reaction?
Hmm. So cool. So cool.
This is
All right. So the next one is your expression of focus and moving forward towards progress or achievement. Hmm. The eyes say it all.
wow. His whole body language changed. He's sitting there.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was so, so beautiful. And you're
Good.
feeling prayerful and blissful. So, what will be your expression?
Hmm.
Oh,
So
oh my
amazing.
God. Oh my God. This is so beautiful.
And if you have to like show or emote something like as you said, the playfulness of an artist, the uthal puthal.
The Gandharva.
Oh, this is so nice.
Ooh.
Amazing, so great, super duper, Nandaji.
And it's like you have to express sorrow. Wow,
So
so
amazing,
beautiful.
so amazing. Hats off. Ha, next one is a little bit interesting. That is jealousy. The eyes. My goodness.
And fear.
And the final one, victory. So amazing. Just puffed up. Great
Aura.
mudras. My God.
Wow,
So
Jai Shri Ram.
beautiful. Yeah, so amazing. Okay, one sentence because I really want you to finish this sentence. The future of classical dance in India is.
Eternal.
Oh,
whoa.
so
So
amazing. Nandaji, why don't you ask Sudhirji the next question?
first, I just can't get over his beautiful expressions. Though this was just like a fun and game, the accomplished artist, the dancer in him could just in this match bring it out so vividly. That was so beautiful. And now, before we end, we just like you to give a few wisdom filled words for the youth, a few tips for those who want to be dancers and take this up professionally. So, what would you like to share with them?
I think a few important things that have worked for me is one, always being in the present moment, so that at that moment when you dance, if you only focus on the present moment, then everything falls into place, and it helps you to go from one present moment to the next. And as they say, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So you have to, the tough may come more than the happy moments for dancers, but you have to keep pushing yourself at every phase, at every valley, to push yourself ahead, and you know the larger goal is coming in. And third, the most important aspect for dancers is to create a lovely sangat chatwa of people. Like today I've met the two of you. It's very important to have the sangat chatvam around you, because art or artists, they need that positive energy. You need to have a sort of your comfort bag around you always, of lovely people or lovely thoughts or your favorite food, which keeps you going each time. And so create that, create, when there's a lot of beautiful people around you with beautiful energy, then that will keep sustaining you and nourishing you. And that's very, very valuable in today's age and time.
So
I
beautifully
can't tell
said.
you, Sunilji, this entire 1 hour had been such an amazing experience for us and for our audience. So much of enlightenment, so much of learning, and your answers were not only about your life experiences, but your knowledge and how you beautifully amalgamated logic, science, dance, creation, everything into it. I think I feel it will help and inspire our young brigade so much. Just two lines. How had been your experience at Thoughtful
It's
Thursday?
been a truly wonderful hour, and thank you so much. And
Thank
I
you.
had originally, I was supposed to reach home and join, but I joined from where I was, because we were away for a wedding today, so I couldn't host you all from my own home. So thank you for your patience in adjusting with where my surroundings at where I am. And it's been such a pleasure meeting the two of you today.
Same here.
Thank you.
Same here.
Thank you for
Thank
making the time and being here.
Absolutely. So, thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our episode today. We'll meet you next Thursday with another amazing personality. The mission is all going stronger and stronger, that you can love your passion and pursue it and make it big in your life. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.